That clearly wouldn't have worked.
I like the RC.
I think we could have even made it at the last second. We had to go out and buy this $40 thing so we can get that controller just for the controller.
Well, we could have gotten
So now we have
2 sandwiches.
Pretty cool. Can you move that again for me? Got it? Cool.
all we have, if you think about it, is.
Hi guys, so my name is Brian, this is David, Richie, and Kevin. For our project today, we did General Grievous, Drum Hero. Basically, our idea came from this picture you see on the screen right now, the Star Wars character General Grievous. We thought he's got a lot of complex geometries. Also has a lot of limbs, meaning he'd be a great drummer. So just some background information about General Grievous. He's from the homeworld Kali, maybe you didn't know. His species Kalish, and his allegiance is actually of the Confederacy of Independent Systems, neither the Empire nor the Confederation. Count Dooku actually trained General Grievous in Jedi battles, but he lost in a battle to Obi-Wan on Utopu, unfortunately. Now David's going to tell us a little bit about our model, now that you know about General Grievous.
Alright, as you can see, he has a lot of complex geometry, so one of the more complex parts that he had came with his torso and his head. Alright, so, as you can see, some of the armor plating here has a lot of organic shapes added to it. This was a very difficult thing to create because, as like the actual character, the armor plating conforms to his body and it's very curvaceous and it has a lot of different features added to it. So some of the ways that these were made was projected sketches were first drawn on a plane and they were projected right onto the actual body. And then from there, various boundary blends were created and solidified in order to create his different armor plating. Some other problems that we ran into when we were trying to create him was the tolerancing issues that was going to happen in SLA. Because he has a lot of thin-like features such as these earpieces right here, we had to make sure that we over-exaggerated them in order to have a stronger piece as it was created. Another thing that was difficult was this front mouthpiece. It's actually supposed to be free floating right here with no actual bond to the body, and we thought that that wasn't going to be strong enough, so we created this rib-like structure in order to reinforce it and make it a lot stronger. Overall, this part of the body was mostly created using a lot of surface modeling features such as boundary blends and different sort of variable section sweeps across it. To continue talking about the different kind of modeling, I'm going to pass it back to Brian, if this would switch over. All right. So here we're going to look at his thigh piece, which is...
Sure. Yeah, so another really complex piece would be his thigh itself. As you can kind of see, this was done using three-dimensional splines and boundary blends. It basically has two thin pieces, which we were a little worried about due to the fact that they're thin ribs. You know, as far as the strength of the piece, it's not so high. But this part actually doesn't move, as you can see on the actual model, which we'll show you later. In addition to this piece being pretty complex with the modeling, the foot was also the case. I'm going to show you.
right here, right click.
There you go. So same kind of deal here. You'll see if I turn on the planes, there's quite a few work planes in there to make this geometry. It's pretty much entirely symmetrical, but there's a lot of boundary blends, especially in this foot area with the toes and whatnot. And while the SLA printer is not capable of doing a point at the end of the toe, it still turned out pretty well on the actual model. And it's actually rounded off, which is better considering it's a child's toy. So while General Grievous is pretty ferocious anyway. So now Kevin's going to tell us a little bit about our mechanism, as well as what we did to actually create the motion of the project.
So those parts that we talked about initially are stagnant parts. So we wanted our drummer. drummer General Grievous to actually move and play the drums. So we decided to use Lego pieces. We have like a lot of gears in here, and just like structures that we coupled with SLA parts so that we can move him as a whole, which was really convenient because, as you can see, this is General Grievous here moving with the mechanism. We have a single input in the back here. Just turn it over. With the hand crank in the back, and it just turns a bunch of gears, and then we have some mechanisms in here that will cause the motion here. It was really convenient because Lego actually has a lot of online modeled parts that we could just bring into Pro E here. So these parts here are exactly the Lego parts that we have here because they were given to us online. And it was just really nice because we can like dimension exactly how this is going to work. We could predict the motion of his arms so that we could talk about exactly like how high things are going to go and how the motion is going to happen. So what happens when you turn this crank is that his arms do that. All right. And Richie's going to talk about the construction of it.
Basically, with final assembling, we did account for tolerances, but being as how we never have used an SLA printer, we did have to do a lot of sanding, basically within his motion joints right here, and getting the Lego pins itself to clear within the plastic. But all the parts, all in all, did match up very well according to our animation. The only problem that we actually did run into is when he created the motion towards the bottom, the cam almost bottomed out, so we had to shorten the seat about a 1/4 inch, but it wasn't a huge deal. Other than that, though, he went together, you know, just like what the video showed.
Questions?
Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you.